Hello, boys. Welcome to another episode of our podcast. Introduce yourself. We have Harry and Matt. Sorry to cut in there.
That's totally fine.
I forgot his name for a moment, but
I forget his name all the time.
Call me whatever you
But
want.
you won't after today.
correct.
All right, so what are we talking about?
Talk about gas.
Ed. And what else?
Gas, a bit of solar, battery,
Solar, battery, great. Is that all? Home
Bit of
automation?
home automation.
home automation, bit of heat pumps as well.
Yeah, all right.
Talking
lovely.
everything energy.
Everything energy. Are we excited about energy?
Of course.
We are, of
always.
course we are.
Do we
Yep.
do we live and breathe energy?
Yes, myself and Harry, we definitely do. Every day, every second of the day, pretty much, we are talking about it. So,
Yeah, there's always something going around, isn't there? Some
probably
kind of
power
joke or
plant just for
something.
my carbon dioxide comes out of my mouth.
It's true. Ask our director.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into it, I suppose. Enough chit chat. First topic, gas.
Gas. Not twice, but it's fine.
No, all right, so gas. All right, so first of all, the benefits of changing over from gas to electricity.
So obviously, gas is a non-renewable commodity. Okay, so constantly, burning fossil fuels, polluting our airways. It's no good. We need to get rid of it. And what do? We have to get either solar, batteries. That's how we get rid of it.
Interesting, yeah, because it's not really something that you hear much about when you talk about getting solar. Everyone just says, like, you should get solar because it's good, because the sun, renewables and stuff, but, like, there's not much talk about why you should change over from
That's right.
gas as well, especially, like, safety issues, like safety
Yeah,
concern.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Definitely.
Safety issues are a big thing. We've all heard the stories, the horror stories of people having gas fires in their home. Leaving their stoves on, and then unfortunately someone lights a light and then bang, straight away,
That is
the
very
house is gone.
unfortunate.
It's terrible. It's very morbid. It's a very morbid start to this podcast, but that's fine. That's where Kozco comes in. We have all the infrastructure to be able to provide you options to get rid of gas out of your home. So whether that's heat pumps, whether that's solar and battery, those things can definitely reduce the reliance on gas.
very good. All right. And I guess environmentally,
It's terrible.
That's-
It's a lot of methane. It's a lot of cow farts. So
brilliant.
it's bottled cow farts. As much as I can say.
That wasn't
But
rehearsed.
it's with the environment, but also financial benefits and everything to do with that, because there's a lot of waste that goes with gas as well, especially heating up hot water. A lot of the excess energy kind of flows around the side and doesn't actually do the job that you want it to do.
That's right.
So you end up costing yourself a lot of money. Like, I mean, I had a customer the other day I was chatting to, and their bills are $1,000 a quarter for a 4-person home. That's $4,000 a year. When
That's
realistically, with a heat pump or battery and solar solution, everything, it could be $200 a year.
Exactly.
that
It could
you
even
pay.
be nothing.
Or
It could even be nothing. If the system is designed correctly, it will be nothing.
Yeah, no, exactly.
If we can do it right, and that's what we do.
If we're
That's-
doing our job properly.
If we're doing our job properly, that's correct. Which I hope I'm doing it. So I'm still on the job, so we're doing all right. But also, you've got to think about some things that aren't even a financial burden, and having gas can be. Actually, I was going to think about something else. It's not that bad. Sorry, I was talking about having out of a blackout. You got gas.
you
You've got
way
gas.
off.
And,
You did- No, but good start though. We'll get there. Decarbonisation. Are we talking about that?
Of course, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we are.
Yes, so we're removing the need for, because effectively gas is methane, but it also has other properties in it, like carbon dioxide. So when you're burning those fossil fuels, you're creating effectively greenhouse gas. So that is obviously not going to be good for the ozone. In South Australia, obviously our weather is very, very good for solar. We get a lot of sunlight in South Australia. So it pays to have solar and battery, not just for your wallet, but for the environment, for safety reasons. There's multitude of reasons why you should go green, and really the starting point for us is to find out what you need and how to fix that, those issues. And that's for us to work out, and our job's to fix that for you.
Excellent.
I guess it's a very custom thing as well, just going in and, if someone comes in, for instance, and they're asking for solar, I've actually, most recently as well, really pushing to get a gas bill from them to check what their gas bill's doing
100%.
because, like we mentioned just before, if someone's got $1,000 gas bill and you can tie that into battery and solar and a heat pump, and then you end up not having any bills at all.
That's right.
So then you'd save $2,000 a quarter because your gas is $1,000, and then you
And again, not many people really know that if you were the same company for both gas and solar, gas and electricity, you actually can offset gas. So if you don't really want to just pull the pin on gas, solar can still help you.
definitely. Yeah.
So it's very, very important to know that. And if you're with the same company, if you're on credit on electricity, you can actually offset that and put it onto gas.
Definitely.
So you can pay for both effectively.
Yeah.
As much as it can do, you obviously might want a little bit of extra money in your pocket. That's when you get rid of gas and you offset all of that usage, put it onto electricity, and use it while the sun is producing it. That's the smartest way to do it.
Yeah, no, agreed.
So that's interesting actually, because I think not many people know that. So how can you do that? Like if we start rolling into solar and batteries and how it works and why, it benefits people.
So obviously with solar and batteries, but predominantly solar, your daytime usage is predominantly going to be covered by what you use during the day. So when you're using your heat pump, that's obviously, if you've got it on during the day, that usage is being covered by your solar, and it's also charging your batteries, and it's also sending some power back to the grid, where you're going to make some money. Not a lot these days, but it's definitely better than nothing. So I've never seen an investment that has such a better ROI than what solar and battery does. You buy a car, it loses, it's got diminishing returns straight away, and people are very, very happy to spend $30,000-$40,000 on a car, and they're second guessing a solar system on their house, which really boggles my mind, because it really does when you see the difference. I understand a nice car is very, very important to everybody, but I think having a smaller bill every single year, and you could probably get a better car
Exactly.
a couple of years after that.
I mean, you put it that way, like using the car analogy as well. As soon as you drive out of the dealership and put your butt in the seat, you lose $10,000 pretty
100%.
much.
Exactly.
With the solar system, you get money
solar
back in your
only-
pocket. Put the $10,000 in your
And
pocket.
it also adds value to the house. It adds a dot point that you could put on the if you're ever going to sell it afterwards. It's a dot point that you can put on.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's something that covered a fair bit recently as well, because obviously a lot of people selling houses and moving and doing different things. But I spoke to a couple of real estate agents at one point, and they said minimum about $6,000 that they'd actually
Add on.
get back for it as well, which is an awesome fact. And if people are considering selling their house but they want to do solar, it can actually be a beneficial thing, especially if you have your bills on the table when someone's doing an open house, and you have your starting bill, then your ending bill. Realistically, that's obviously say $1,500, $2,000 a year more that someone could pay on a mortgage as well.
Go a
So
long
if they really want the house, then you could stretch that a little bit extra, just because you do have the solar and it's going to be saving you money. So
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess then for people that don't really know how solar works, because a lot of people will call up after and ask do I need to turn it on? Do I need to tell my metering company? How does it actually work? So how does solar work?
Do you want me to take it?
oh, you can
I can
go.
take it. Okay. So solar is always it's all automated effectively. You don't have to do anything. We come in the process. We look at what your bills are, and we try to customize a system that's best suited for you. And because every system is completely different based on what your needs are. But effectively, solar, what it does, it will first prioritize your usage first. So say if you've got your air conditioner on during the day when it's a nice hot day, if you're using 2 kilowatts as an example, but you're producing 5 or 6, that 2 kilowatts is going to be provided by the solar. If you have a battery, it will then charge that battery to the quickest that it can be, that battery can take. And then any excess to that will then be sent back to the grid, which will then give you money based on your plan that you're with your energy retailer. But effectively, that's the dumbed down version of solar. It's not really that much to really think about. all you got to know is that it's free energy that you've got up there, sitting up there. It's free money,
Yeah.
effectively.
And like most people, you can see your production out. Like most systems have apps and stuff that connect to the Wi-Fi, so like if it's not working.
That's
or
right.
it's
There's multitude of
Yeah.
there's multitude of options out there. There's other third-party options that you can even see what your single circuits are using. Like if you want to know what your lights use, if you've got a hot tub, you want to know what the hot tub uses. There's plenty of things out there that can be added on. You just got to ask us, and we can offer it to you. And there's always plenty of options out there that we can do for you.
Yeah, amazing, very good. All right. Well, I guess like people that have a pre-existing solar system, can they add a battery to it?
Yeah,
That's for you.
definitely can. It's really a case-by-case situation with that, just because we want to make sure that obviously the battery is still going to be worthwhile for you. For instance, if it's you've got a small home, but you do, for instance, have some pretty high usage, you've got a 6 kilowatt system, and you think that you're going to be able to get a battery to save money, it may not be the case. So that's why I always get the electricity bill. I'm sure you do the exact same, Matt.
Yep.
And actually analyze your bill, see what you sell back to the grid for winter and for summertime, to double check how much kilowatt usage or basically and your spare you have. So, for instance, if you are only selling in wintertime 3 kilowatts back to the grid per day, there's not much of a point in you adding a battery in, because obviously for the whole winter months, you're only going to have 3 kilowatts in say a 13 kilowatt battery.
That's right.
So, you're only filling up a very, very marginal amount of the battery, which obviously then you pretty much just got a big box sitting there doing nothing.
That's right. Big, expensive box.
Exactly. And
That's
we
the
don't
thing.
want you to waste money either. And obviously, look, we are running a business and we do want to help people out. But at the same time, everyone's got to be happy. And we don't want to do wrong by anyone.
That's
so,
right.
in that case, for instance, Steph, we'd actually end up suggesting doing more solar if we do have room on the roof, because that will give you a quicker return on investment. And then, down the line, we could add a battery in. So a bit of a long answer for you, but batteries always are adaptable to solar systems and existing
100%.
one.
But it's got to meet the right circumstances, because
Exactly.
we've got consciences. We don't just sell. Well, I like to think I do. But because you can have a person that is paying next to nothing, but they just want to have a battery for blackout protection, which I can understand if they're in an area that gets a lot of blackouts. But if they're in a location that doesn't get many blackouts, but they want to spend about $6,000 at least on a battery, but their bills are only about $150 a quarter, I would tell that person, look, either add more solar or wait till battery prices get down. Because look, we're salesmen, but we're also people too.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know,
We're not big dirty salesmen.
it's called salesperson.
Yes.
And these days it's
It is
salesperson.
correct, yes.
So there's a person behind that name.
Wait, what did you say before? Salesman? Are you saying you're a salesperson now? So
yeah.
you just said. So it took a while to catch it.
Certainly did. So there's a person behind that. So
Excellent. I'm glad.
we don't just cater. We don't just cater just for blank numbers. We look at the whole scenario. We actually look for a solution for your problem. If you tell us the problem is bills, we do our best and the most cost-effective way of doing and getting solving that solution. That's how we do it at Kozco.
Amazing.
Definitely.
Very good. All right. Well, it ties into this question because somebody has messaged us on Facebook, I guess, and asked us, is it true that there is a possibility I'll be able to sell power back to the grid? And I guess like what you were saying, you're not going to give them a system that they're not going to make money off. So there's not going to be any export if you get a system that's too small. Would you elaborate?
Well, we have to size it correctly based on what we see. So we size the systems based on what we see, and also we talk to a lot of customers who have growing families. So sometimes you talk to a customer and their bills are quite low because it's just them and their partner. So it's definitely short-term thinking when you are just, right, that bill is going to be like that all the time. It's always going to grow. So you always got to think of the future.
Exactly.
So you've got to think, right, a bill is going to get larger, especially with all the power prices getting larger every day. Pretty much.
Oh, pretty much always.
I've seen
open market's crazy at the moment.
just recently I've seen some 20 cent, 30 cent increases in usage rates. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it's
It's actually
big
sickening
things out
sometimes. But look, and also they only give you 5 cents back. So it's a slap in the face. So what you've got to do is put your power back in your hands. Don't leave it into your retailer's hands, because they will take you for a ride as much as they can. So it's very, very important for us to think about systems, not just now, but in the future too.
But if someone were to say it was just like them and their partner and one kid, and they decided to go for a 6.6.
Yep.
And then in 3 or 4 years' time, they wanted to double it and have a 12 kilowatt because they're sort of using more power. That's something that can be done.
Of course.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I mean, really, it depends again, the design of the roof and what you can fit on there at the time as well. So,
correct.
you know, if they had a lot of houses these days are, the small, long block houses. So you probably, like a townhouse. Sometimes they have weird valleys in the roof. So it may be that you can only fit maximum 8 kilowatts on there. So you couldn't necessarily fit another 6 kilowatt alongside there. So in that case, I dare say you'd be the same, Matt. You'd actually recommend to do the 8 kilowatts straight away, because fitting another 3 kilowatt afterwards, it just isn't really worthwhile. No. It doesn't stack up.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I always have the adage to say a little bit bigger is always better to future-proof yourself. You know, what if you end up turning half...
different way I say it, but I say pretty much I've never had a customer call back to me and say I put too much solar on my roof. Never.
Exactly.
I've had people come back to me and say, I wish I put more. But I've never ever had someone come back to me and say I've put too much solar on my roof.
Yeah.
Never.
No, definitely. And like, if there's at some point, you have another kid, or you want to put another beer fridge in the garage, or have a spa
pool,
out the back, or a pool, or one of the blow-up spas, you can at least pack it away and do all of that. Obviously, that's going to suck some more energy.
It is.
So you want to make sure that you don't have a bill in the future. So just do it once, do it right, and just get it done.
Yeah.
The right
Pay once,
way,
cry once is what you say.
Correct. Yeah.
Pay once, cry once.
Chef's kiss, professionals. When you know what you want, you go for it.
Exactly.
Right.
Wow. Well, I guess I was going to say, so how would you know what system is best for someone's home? But you sort of already mentioned it's just about the bill, like evaluating
It's
the
not
bill,
just the bill.
doing an energy audit.
We can sort of do that just by asking questions. So we ask what time of day when do they use their power the most. So that can either say, is a battery worth it, or if a battery is not worth it, depending on what time of day you use it. So if you're a person that's retired, or if you do work from home, which is very, very more common, it's a lot more common these days than what it used to be. So if you use a lot more power during the day rather than the night time, you could bypass the battery for the time being, because you're going to get, as long as you use a lot more of your power during the day when the sunlight is out, those sunlight hours, it's very, very important. But if you're a 9 to 5 worker and you use all your power at night time, you do all your washing at night time, batteries are very, very important, because I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm seeing 50 cents as a usage rate these days, and feed-in tariffs are probably average of 5 cents. So for every kilowatt you use at night time, you would have to export 10 kilowatts during the day, rather than just to get that money back because of the price difference. Whereas if you use 1 kilowatt during the day, that's 50 cents saved right there.
Well, that's crazy figures, 1 to 10.
1 to 10. 1 to 10 these days. It's grown. It's grown.
A massive
I remember
ratio.
when I was saying 1 to 5, 1 to 6. It's only getting more. And who knows what it could be in 3 years' time.
Wow.
You have no idea.
That's kind of depressing.
It's a little bit, it's a little bit sad, a little bit frustrating.
That's why we want to put the control back in your hands. So when we do the system, you choose when you use your power. And then if you've got a solar and battery system, effectively that allows you to use it both times, and using the power that you produce, not what they produce, and which is predominantly green power anyway, and they are paying, and you're paying through the nose for that. If you don't want to do that, then come to us, have a chat with us, and we'll explain to you how to put the power back into your hands.
I think one point on that as well, one thing that I've come across a lot more recently with the price increases is a lot of people with the old high feed-in tariff with small 1.5 to 2 kilowatt systems coming in and saying, my bill's gone up for the first time in 15 years. What do I do here? And it's a big massive common misconception that because the feed-in tariff is lower now than what it was, so 52 cents compared to 5 cents like you mentioned before, but there is plans out there where you could be on 18 cents, right? 100%. But the biggest misconception is that you don't save as much money anymore because you don't have the high feed-in tariff, and that isn't true, because a 1.5 kilowatt system will produce maybe 4 kilowatts a day on average, 4.5. A 13 kilowatt system will produce 70 plus kilowatts a day on average. So there's a massive difference in how much energy you produce with the newer style solar systems and what size we can put them to as well.
Yeah.
So I think that people have got to get very scared with that because of the high feed-in tariff, and everyone thinks that it's small because the media took it and ran with it.
Yeah.
But you just need to come in and have a chat with us and actually, lay it all on the line. I can actually just calculate it out all in front of you and give you the hard numbers and say, this
right.
is why
That's right.
it actually stacks up.
The high feed-in tariff worked for everybody because nobody really used, or they were told not to use that power during the day. Literally the opposite to what it is now.
Yeah, it's complete opposite.
So everyone was told to send power back to the grid and then use power at night time. Because power at night time back then was probably like 20 cents. You probably think?
Yeah.
20 cents, say?
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Why though?
Good question.
Yeah.
Greed? I don't know.
Scarcity of resources and everything as well.
Yeah.
And
true.
then, prices went up for a while there to $1 a kilowatt in SA
Yeah, that's right.
a while ago. Which, that's what the open market was. So that's why energy prices spiked so high, because everyone was paying about 35 cents, and energy companies like AGL and Origin would buy it at probably 8 or 9 cents from the market and then sell it at 35. But for close to a week, it was hovering from 90 cents to $1.10 per kilowatt, and they were still selling it at 35 cents. So they were losing a lot of money.
That's insane.
Which is, absolutely insane. And that's because, a few gas-fired plants shut down for unplanned maintenance and, a few other things. Basically, shit hit the fan.
But that's the thing, that's going back to that, putting the control back into your hands. Don't put it into the greedy hands of the retailer.
Exactly.
Because all they want to do is line their pockets. They don't care about you. I'm sure many of you guys will be hearing and talking to your retailers, trying to get better deals. They don't want to hear about it. They don't want to bar of it.
No.
They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to. They want to. You say, I've been with you for 10 years, 10, 15 years. They don't care. They don't care.
It gives you a tiny little bit more purchase, but it really depends how good you are on the phone as well.
Look, if you're persistent, I've got an auntie that does that.
There's...
I got someone who will, she eventually, they'll start paying her to use the power. I guarantee it, because she can turn someone around just from pure nagging.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name names, but she knows who she is.
She's gonna watch it.
Exactly.
She knows exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
She's proud of that.
You'll never hear from her again. She's
Nah, she should be fine. She loves me. She loves me.
Excellent. All right. Well, straight into heat pumps then, eh?
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a byproduct that will help you save money, because we're using electricity rather than going from a gas instantaneous or a gas water tank. So obviously, effectively, what is a heat pump?
Yeah, actually.
What is a heat pump?
Pump that heats.
Right, pump that heat. So think of an air conditioner, an outdoor unit that you see from a split system that you see in most houses these days. It effectively takes the cold air, turn it into hot, and heats up a water reservoir. Just like typical, like your electric hot water. Instead of using an element, this uses refrigerant. Compresses refrigerant, and it will heat coils, and those coils will go around the water reservoir, and then get your water hot.
So it's like an air conditioner for your water.
Air conditioner for your water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
As weird as that sounds, because obviously they don't really mix too well when you.
No. So.
Yeah, I guess. What do you mean?
water and air don't really you're gonna have a bit of an issue if you turn your aircon and then the water starts coming out of your
Oh,
mouth.
it's leaking. Yeah. Call our service department if that happens to you.
Plug.
Okay. So I guess what are the benefits then?
So the benefits is it's a lot more efficient in using electricity.
Why?
So, mainly because compressing refrigerant is a lot cheaper and a lot less or energy consuming than it is to heating up a total element. Element effectively is getting 2-3 kilowatts just by turning on.
Startups.
Is it really?
Startups 8 kilowatts.
8 kilowatts, is it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or,
That's
it's a lot
Immediately.
even higher on. Depends on the size of the unit. Like the
yeah,
big-
true. Immediately, that's right.
Immediately. So
Yeah.
as soon as you turn it on, it's 8 kilowatts from the good.
8 kilowatts per hour, that's right. And
Oh,
then
wow.
I guess it's got a thermostat in there, so it will constantly keep on using that until it determines that it gets to a certain temperature, and then it will decrease after that. But those heating elements definitely do chew up a lot of power.
Wait, so you're good with with numbers? Can you give us some quick math? Like 8 kilowatts an hour on a.
8 kilowatts an hour compared to say 1 to 2 for a heat pump.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if my maths is pretty good. It's about 6 kilowatts difference there.
Nah, the money though. Like how much
Oh.
are people gonna save?
Well,
Yes.
then if we're going back to the 50-cent kilowatts that we were using before, then that's 6 kilowatts, 6 times 5. I don't know. That's $3
Hang on.
per
I
hour.
said 52.
That's $3 per hour. That's $3 per hour in savings just there, just in that one little section. Now,
$20 an hour. Okay.
no, it's $3 per hour.
Oh,
Remember, we're using 3 kilowatts per hour.
so. Okay.
So
Like
it's a kilowatt per hour.
But it doesn't sound like a lot, but you add that up over 25
Yeah, add that up.
years.
It's a
that's
lot of
Even
money.
8, 3, 6. What's 3 times 8? 8, 6, 16. No, let's stop with that.
This
16,
isn't a
24?
maths
I'm
podcast. so-
embarrassing myself.
It wasn't a mathematics podcast.
No, okay.
Look, that's why we say. That's why we do the maths.
But it's literally ends up being cheaper for you to heat up your water than it is for you to buy the water with a heat pump.
That's right.
That's crazy compared to an electric hot water service or
100%.
gas.
Yeah.
I think it's about for the difference between a heat pump and a gas hot water instantaneous unit. It's about 3.6 megajoules to 1 kilowatt.
Yeah.
So it's 1 to 3.6, which is a big, massive difference in your conversion as well. And obviously you've got some extra losses and different things that happen with gas.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned a little bit earlier on. But heat pumps are just way more efficient. Basically just a new thing that's come into the Australian market, especially in SA. It's going to be a pretty big thing upcoming, especially because we can control the heat pump to use your solar and battery energy and heat up at peak times when you've got peak production during the day as well, which means that it costs you absolutely nothing to heat up your water, and if anything, you're going to make money off of it.
That's right. That also hints into home automation.
Yes,
Automation,
exactly.
Turning that heat pump on at a certain time, or based on certain events, certain temperatures in the open air. There's many different ways we can actually tailor it to what you guys need, to what the customer needs. So it's very important for us to know a lot of things based on your energy usage, but all these things can be neutralized by having a solar system. That's one thing. Gas cannot be neutralized by having solar. It can slightly by having a feed-in tariff, but directly subsidizing it or neutralizing it and offsetting it is a lot more efficient way of doing that too.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, it all just really be coming back to solar.
Everything leads back to solar because really that's your
revolves around the
generation
sun.
plant.
If
Like solar systems.
yeah, revolves around the sun.
The sun doesn't revolve around itself.
Wait, what did you say?
I said it all revolves around solar. He said it revolves around the sun.
It does. We revolve around the sun. So solar is powered by the sun.
NASA.
It's just over your head. That's fine.
Oh god.
That's fine.
No,
my quips never work sometimes.
It was almost a perfect segue into home automation, though.
Yes.
Like we almost got it.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
But we have some things to say, and also a whole other podcast coming up. Like, not right now, but like on home automation. We have a specific home automation podcast coming. So much to look forward to.
Definitely.
All right, that's a wrap. We'll see you next time.
Catch you guys. I said catch you guys.
See you next time.